What's going on, everybody? Cigar Titan here once again with my good friend Brother Stogie. Say hello to the people.
Yo, what's going on? Give me a minute. Let him pour in first.
Well, get him pouring. Okay.
Yeah, so that give me time. It's live. You know what I'm saying? So we can't powder our nose with the camera off this time. We gotta do it on camera now. You know what I'm saying? We some folks will show up. 4 o'clock.
So what are you having today?
This is the Unveiled Lancero by Hiram Solomon.
Okay.
What you got?
Today I am smoking the 1502 Black Gold. I've heard a lot about this cigar, but actually haven't had this one yet, so I'm pretty excited to try this one and get into it.
All right, there you go. We got 5 people in the house. Welcome. Cigar Titans first live here. What's going on? There they go. Here they come.
Yes, sir. So, Brother Stogie, we've got a very special guest with us today. Who is that?
We do, man. We got Honest Abe here.
That's
right.
Know
what I'm saying? He is the big wig, the originator
the biggest,
the biggest wig out there. You know what I'm saying? He organizes, the Great Smoke. The Great Smoke started off in Vegas.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Pre-COVID, where everybody can kind of go under one house with cigars. Right. From what I heard, because last year we were supposed to go, but didn't.
Right.
But I heard there's like food and drink.
I heard this, and we like to eat.
We do. You know what I'm saying? So, yes. So, he's going to be on the show with us today.
That's right. We're going to ask him some questions about the Great Smoke. It's going to be a little bit of a different format this year than it normally is, obviously, with some of the challenges that, everybody's facing right now, but some pretty exciting stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So, get a stogie, get a drink, because we got our stogies and we got our drink, and you're good to go.
You ready to get started?
Skip it to him.
All right. Welcome back, everybody.
Yo, Adam, Kevin,
Honest
Beard and Moon. What's going on?
Abe, how are you, sir?
What's up, gentlemen? How you doing? Thanks for having me. And I'm proud to be part of, I guess, your first live show ever.
First live. Yeah. Nerve-wracking, I'm telling you.
My boy nervous.
I'm not used to this. I'm used to being able to go in and make the edits and the cuts and everything, and put together this nice presentation and post it on YouTube. Now everybody's going to hear it.
Right. So all the shenanigans that happens after we edit, y'all go hear it today.
Listen,
all over myself.
Welcome to the big leagues, man. There's no experience like doing it live. No retake. So
right.
It's funny because when we started our show, that was one of the things. We started our KMA Talk Radio about 10 years ago, and we did it iHeart Media Building. And that was one of the things, man. We were live. We were live on broadcast radio too. So we had FCC things we had to worry about in case somebody swore. You had to drop the audio real quick, and and it happened. It happened. It happened a few times. I think Steve Saka holds the record for most consecutive swears in a live radio broadcast. So yeah.
Try to knock that out of the park.
No, I'm not. All right, I'm gonna try not to set a new record for a live broadcast.
Yeah. So no, it's great. I'm glad you guys managed to do this and get me on and give me the opportunity to talk about the Great Smoke and some other cool things that we have in the works this year.
Yeah, this is a huge event. I think this is probably one of the biggest events that is thrown every year in the industry.
It's become one of the top events and probably one of the biggest destination events. It started 15 years ago in our West Palm Beach location. We did it like in front of a courtyard that we had in our West Palm store. And, at that time, 15 years ago, there hadn't been a mega or multi-vendor cigar event in the state of Florida for, I think at that time, almost 10 years, a little over 10 years. Okay. Because, Cigar Aficionado started this type of an event with the Big Smoke, right? And at one point, I think the Big Smoke was in 20 different cities across America. And then through legislation and all, the rhetoric of, anti-smoking lobbying, it got cut down to where it was only in, I think at one point, New York and Chicago. And then I think New York, Chicago, and Las Vegas, then New York and Las Vegas. And now it's just done in Las Vegas. And I think a couple of years ago, they started it back up here in South Florida. But, the venues were just becoming harder and harder to do. So when we thought about doing this in front of our courtyard, we did it for a local audience. And I think there was, 300 plus people there our first year. It was a successful event. Overwhelmed. I mean, we had no cover in case it rained. There was a lot of things that we got absolutely lucky about. And it was a big hit. And the second year it got bigger to the point where we couldn't do it in front of the courtyard anymore. And I think we had attracted some people from out of state who would reach out to me. And, I always try to make myself as available as possible to our patrons, no matter where you are. Right. And his issue was legitimate. He's like, I love your event. And this was a guy in Boston who the first year had reached out to us, and I guess Cigar Fest, which sells out typically in minutes, had sold out. And he says, I can't get tickets there. I heard about your event. I'd like to come to it. Can you tell me a little bit about it? And I told him a little bit about it. And he actually came down and had a great time. And he came for many years after that. And in his second year, he pulled me aside and he said, look, I love your event. It's awesome. But, I fly down here from Boston. I get a hotel room, and in 4 hours, it's over. 5 hours. And it was a legitimate, complaint. And then we started with our first after party in year 3. And then it just kept growing. And now, like last year, we have an event Thursday night. We have 2 events Friday night. We have the main event Saturday, 2 events Saturday night, and a Sunday brunch. So it's now kind of become this whole weekend affair, which draws, a few thousand people from all over the country. And we're pretty proud of it. And it's always been tied to a charity for the last, I think, decade almost. Almost a decade, we've been dealing with the Kids Cancer Foundation. And they've always been extremely grateful of our work and our donations to their charity. And, we're just, we're excited about this year because we were poised with the situation look, our event last year in 2020 was the first time since we had started the event that we themed the event. So one of the reasons why I think our event grew from a couple hundred people to a few thousand people nationwide was just like kind of everything we do in my organization and my team and my company, we're always thinking about experience. How do we make something experience driven? The product is an ancillary function of what we do, but the product is something that everybody has. So 90% of what we carry and what we offer to our patrons is the same thing that everybody else has. So it's the experience that we tie into having a product that we always believe differentiates us. So our event has always been experience driven. How do we make this about experience? We don't want this to be a selling event, even though we do a lot of sales there, because that's what funds the ability to have the event. We want them to walk away talking about the experience. And we've been very successful doing that. And now this year we were when we were the last multi-vendor event last year. So to incorporate a theme was pretty novel and kind of ingenious on our team's part, because now it gave us a venue to expand on the experience. So last year was disco. It was 70s. And it was great. And everybody loved it. Some people came dressed for it. We had a 70s band called Studio 54. So now it made us coming into thinking of experiences easier, because now we had a theme to work with. So the theme this year was supposed to be the Hawaiian Luau, the power of the poi, the Hawaiian hoedown. We had all these ideas ready to go.
Hawaiian hoedown.
Yeah. Yeah. We had all these ideas ready to go. And then, obviously, like right after our event in 2020, the country shut down. And we never thought like we'd still be talking about this in January of 2021. I mean, it was never even in the back of our heads. And as the summer kept going on, and more of these national events were getting shut down, we really started getting poised to a question like, we need to have a plan B, unless we just don't want to have this event after 15 years, Right. And I didn't like any of the plan Bs. They were just not really an acceptable event, because all of them was just about getting this package out, and then what? Then it just becomes a selling event, right? So we kind of kidded around and talked about doing a virtual event. And we had seen a couple virtual events. There were a couple of virtual events last year, and basically it was sending the package out and then having something like we're doing now, right? Uh-huh. Where a couple of guys got on a Zoom and they talked to people, and that didn't fly in my book, and honestly nobody in my team's book. And we were just playing around with what other options can we do, and we kind of joked about doing like a real television style broadcast, like a Tonight Show broadcast with cameramen, studio sets, and stuff like that. and do this like 8-hour telethon thing, right? And we were just kidding when we thought this up. And then as we started talking about it, it's just started to formulate more and more. My operations guy for about 8-9 years, he's been working here. He happens to be best friends with this company out of Atlanta that's done the Golden Globes and Kings of Comedy and Soul Train. And he's like, you know, why don't, right? Yeah, I mean, a guy with the experience to pull something like this off. We're not TV show producers. We don't know how to produce a TV show. Right. You know, doing a podcast or a radio show, piece of cake now, but TV production is a whole other animal. And he's like, well, why don't you let me reach out to him and see what he says? I'm like, I mean, you know, do you even think it's feasible? What do you know? And it started to roll. So once we made that decision, it's been full throttle to pull off this now virtual style, interactive, 7 to 8 hour all day telethon broadcast that's now tied into a package that you buy that you would have normally have gotten by coming to one of our events here in South Florida.
That is a beast of an event.
So now you got the experience and the product all at the same time now.
Yeah. I mean, look, people fly in and they get all these things when they come in. Typically for a general admission ticket, they get this souvenir bag, whether it's a cooler bag or a duffel bag. I mean, we've changed it up over the years. And there's some trinkets in there and stuff like that, nothing major. And then you get this coupon book and you go around to 40 different companies and you collect 40 cigars. And we were going to send this out to everybody as a ticket, but we wanted to be over the top, right? Because the first time you do anything, especially when you do something that's never been done before like this, it's very hard to get people to understand where you're at. You know, I'm pretty sure at least 50% of the manufacturers got on board without really even understanding what I was going to do. You know, I'll bet, you know, they're like, what, you want to do a great smoking? You're going to do it virtual? And I'm trying to explain to them because I want them to get excited.
No, we're sold.
Yeah, we're in. Don't worry about it. I'm like, all right. So, and I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty confident half of them will reach out to me afterwards. It's like, we had no idea what you were doing, you know, so it typically happens.
Well, heads up next time.
Right?
Yeah. So, and that's one of the reasons why I kind of got on this like tour of trying to get out there and talk to people as much to try to explain them how this is not anything that's ever been done before. So on top of the 40 premium cigars, which are always premium, right? That's one of the great things about our event is they've never been house brands, bundles, staples. The manufacturers have always come strong in giving us a reputable premium brand they sell. So they get this and they get this tote bag, but we threw in everything. We threw in the official shirt, the official hat, a cigar band vault, a commemorative shot glass. I mean, everything we could. So we knew the package would be over the top. So there's no question now is the value of the package, right? I think when you add the retail up of everything in there, it's over $430, $450. And we're delivering this to everybody's door for $169. So that value's done. That was the easy part. That's the easy part. Now what do we do? And this broadcast became a thing. So how do we make a broadcast special? We make it variety show style. So we will have entertainment. We'll have musicians and magicians and mentalists and comedians throughout the show. And then we got some industry legends. We've got a half a dozen legends that will come there live. And on top of that, and this was a real tricky part, you know, how do we still create some extra excitement for these ticket holders? Because these guys, even though the value's there, they're committing $170 of their hard-earned money. So now we're going to entertain them all day, but what else can we do special? So we started reaching out to manufacturers, seeing if they'd be willing to make something special for the event that would only be accessible if you were a ticket holder to the event.
So are you going to do like a segment for each manufacturer or for
each manufacturer has his own segment throughout the day. Now, hopefully, by the end of this week, Friday, I'm hoping we'll have a finalized tentative outline. So you'll know. Entertainment will be at this hour, and then what the entertainment is, and then these manufacturers will be on at this time, whether it's Carlito or Soccer or Pete Johnson or Rocky or Perdomo. So, and of course, this is live, so it's all tentative. But at least now you have a framework saying, "Look, I don't want to miss this manufacturer, so I need to know at least by this time I better be watching a little bit prior to catch it, or whether it's be our liquor demonstrations or any of that stuff." So. And a lot of that is because I'm working with an outside broadcast company, so I got to work on his timeline. He's producing the show. Right. All I'm doing is feeding him all the components. So we'll have that. Hopefully, we did an initial last week, and I'm having hopefully the finalized one will be done this week. So everybody will have a distinctive timeline, and then we were really honored and blessed to have some of these manufacturers come up with some incredible cigars. I mean, we posted a little teaser about the project that Carlito Fuente was. I mean, I've never been so humbled and honored in my life that he went out of his way to make, this extremely rare and limited project for this, that is an Opus X cigar. And, that's not a front mark that family takes lightly.
Right.
They're not just popping out Opus X's for anybody who wants an Opus X. So for him to make something special that had that name on it was mind blowing for us, because we didn't know. When you're asking people to participate in something that they don't know about, and you're kind of begging, can you make me something special? We're hoping to create this. You can't start getting picky and saying, well, we want this. Can you do this? We need, because you're already asking favors. So I mean, how bad do you want to get to it?
But the Opus X is a good stick, though.
It's an amazing stick. Yeah.
So some people ask me, well, do you know what the retail price is? I'm like, no, because I don't even know what they billed me yet, because I didn't want to ask. You're not getting, when you're asking favors, you're not getting into negotiating of pricing. I mean, I'm already asking favors. So, Carlito made something really, really special. Steve Saka made something really special that we put it out there. They all have done really something special, or found something in their archives that has been long gone that they're going to bring back out for this event. So that was a nice, really humbling experience to have all these guys step up to the plate and be involved in this process. And that was another value I could give to people who have supported this event for 15 years and chose to continue supporting it this year, even though they couldn't physically come down, or these people who have never been to the event because of either they never heard of it or they couldn't really afford to come down, who are participating for the first time because we made it feasible. You could take part in this event without committing to flying down and spending thousands of dollars of coming to South Florida. So it'll be interesting. And I don't know if you've seen the sets that we're building. It's on the Great Smoke Facebook page. We posted about a month ago. These are over the top sets. I mean, this is not like a
beautiful.
It's not a Ricky.
Like a real life talk show. Welcome to the Moya Provich show type set,
Right. This ain't no Jerry Springer show we're doing here. So, we hope to make, look, if we pull this off, once again, I think my company has made its mark historically in the cigar industry, doing something that nobody's ever done before, which is always a stressful but fun place I like to exist. I like to exist in that ether of doing something that's never been done before. Because, after a few hundred years of the cigar industry, you can't do that all the time. So to think of things and do things that have never been done before is cool. Because look, even the Great Smoke and a lot of our great ideas, it's not. I can't say it's original ideas. I either seen somebody do something or seen something existed out there and took it and made it better and made it us, and made it our own. And that's typically what happens. But when you could break the threshold and say, look, no one's ever tried to do a broadcast like this, an interactive one, a selling one, a limited release one, an entertainment one, an informative one. It's a big endeavor. I mean, it's one I knew I couldn't do alone. And that's why we were excited to get some co-hosts involved. And, as far as from the industry, getting Michael Herklotz for me was an ultimate coup. I couldn't believe he was so ready. I really thought I would kind of have to bend his arm a little bit, kind of beg a little bit. Come on, Michael, we could use you. He was all for it. He's like, look, my only concern right now is I need to finish up the work I have to do with closing up Nat Sherman. And then we have to see what the world is like, whether I could fly out there. But if those things are all good and clear, you have me. I'm there. I'd love to be part of it. So that was big for us. And then look, you guys know it as much as I do. Women have always been around the cigar industry. Yeah, they've always been a component. And since the evolution of cigar bars and these public settings, which kind of, I think, made them more comfortable, instead of walking into a shop with 12 guys sitting around in a chair huddling and smoking, they've become a force.
Not even that. On IG, they're making a stand, we are here. We are using smoke. We are Sisters of the Leaf, and we got our own little community within the community going on.
Yeah, so getting two girls who are very popular and very well known, who are Florida locals for us as well. Shmokini, who basically lives in our backyard, and Melanie Cisco, who's out on the west coast of Florida here, to get them involved as co-host and bring that female aspect to the show was another a big accomplishment as far as I'm concerned. So, now it's just putting it all together. And I ain't gonna lie, man, logistics are killing us. Stress is killing us. I'm brutal on my team now because I'm stressed out. So we're all kind of wigging out. But at the end, we've had the history. Look, I was just watching, and I'm almost ashamed to say this because I'm from Chicago.
Don't be.
But I just finished watching today the last episode of The Last Dance, right? And I wanted to see it when it came out last year because I grew up physically watching Michael Jordan play. It wasn't a video or TV. I've been down to the United Center. I've watched him play in person. I was blessed enough to even watch him play for Charlotte here in Miami when Charlotte played in Miami, and I happened to be living in Florida at the time. So Michael Jordan was an icon for me growing up. And I just watched it. I'm going through. I'm watching this. I'm relating it to it on some levels. Obviously I'm no Michael Jordan, but I see the struggle of trying to achieve these things. So yeah, I think sometimes I might be overly brutal on my staff, but I think, they appreciate it in the long run because they see these kind of epic things that we accomplish and that we do. And, in the long run, as the company grows, everybody benefits from it. So
where does an idea like this come from? You look at, you said this started about 15 years ago, right? So you're looking at about
the Great Smoke idea started. It was a spinoff off of our 10th anniversary. So what had happened was Eric Espinosa had planted the seed from Espinosa Cigars because, like I said, there wasn't a multi-vendor event. Eric Espinosa said, let's do this. I think it was a year or two prior to this. Let's do this event. And we were going to do it together. And we struggled to find a venue anywhere in South Florida that would allow people to smoke and hang out. So fast forward now about a year and a half later, I have my 10th anniversary party. We give away this Harley Davidson that was custom painted with our logo. The saddlebags were made to look like humidors. It had a little humidor. Yeah, it had a little humidor on our dashboard. In the dash of it was a Road King. It was a Harley Road King.
Oh, have mercy.
And we gave it away, and we had this epic 10th anniversary party, of which 4 manufacturers were involved at the time. It was Drew Estate, Oliva, Rocky Patel, and Camacho. Those were the 4 companies that were involved. So they were all there on top of other industry people who just came to be there for my 10th anniversary. And we had this courtyard in front of my store. This is just, at this point, I think I'm 3 locations. I don't have much of a national presence, but we had this courtyard packed with probably 600 to 800 people. And it was insane. It was just packed. And it ended up being an extremely successful event. And there was a gentleman named Michael Argenti, who is Nick Perdomo's brother-in-law. He was vice president of Perdomo Cigars at the time. So Perdomo wasn't involved in this event, but Mike just came up to pay his respects. And then after the event, we all go to a bar and we're all drinking and talking. And he had a little too much to drink, and he wouldn't stop talking to me about like, this was the most amazing event I've ever seen. Like, this is the level of like JR and stuff. And because I've done events all over the country, I've never seen anything like this. Because where do you go from here? Like, this is it. You might as well just stop doing events.
You've hit the pinnacle. That's it.
That's basically the conversation he told me. You might as well just stop doing events because there's nowhere to go but down from here. And, I was laughing and, obviously feeling challenged. And the very next morning, it was a Saturday. We had this group of guys, about 20 guys, and we'd eat lunch together every Saturday. We would fly crawfish in from Louisiana. We would deep fry stuff. We would cook together as a group and eat lunch every Saturday. So I'm going for a Saturday lunch with the boys, and I'm walking out in this courtyard. And I'm seeing this empty courtyard that was just packed with hundreds of people the night before. And I'm looking at this, and that's kind of when I thought of it. I kind of said, I could do a multi. After seeing the crowd that was there last night, I could do a multi. I don't need a venue. We could just do it right here in this courtyard.
I heard that.
And this 10th anniversary event, I believe, was like in September or no, it was November even. It was in November, maybe even. And I said, I'm going to start working on this because my whole company had a staff of 5, maybe 6 at the time. There was nobody. We had no graphic guys. We had nothing. So I said, I'm going to do this event a year from now. So it gives me a whole year to kind of work and do it and prep it. So I got a call from Christian Aroa, who Camacho was involved in my 10th anniversary event. So I got a call from him that weekend. He said, look, I was at the Hard Rock and I ran into France Blau, which was the owner of Thompson's. And Thompson's had the history of doing they had just done maybe 3 or 4 months earlier, their version of a big multi-vendor event at the Hard Rock at Tampa. So I'm saying to myself, why is this guy here in Hollywood, Florida, on the East Coast? So now I'm getting paranoid. I'm saying this guy is flying out here to the Hard Rock because he wants to do a multi-vendor event on this coast. So I said, I can't wait till next year, because if he had done that first, I don't think the Great Smoke would have ever took off.
Right.
So I literally went from planning to do it a year later to that February was our first one.
Right.
So I had like literally November, December, and January, 3 months to make this happen, something we'd never done before. And I had no graphics people. Our first tickets were duplicate forms. Like you came to the store and you bought a duplicate form. We kept the record and we ripped it. I mean, it was so tacky.
Local.
Yeah, it was so local and so tacky. And then that whole week, it rained every day. We had no cover in this courtyard. It rained every day and was scheduled to rain that Saturday.
Oh.
So I'm saying to myself, if this thing rains, this event is over. It's never going to happen again. These manufacturers are never going to want to do it again. The consumers will never believe in it again. And I am going nuts. And every single friend I had, no matter what their nationality was or their heritage was, gave me every little like superstitious thing to do to make it not rain, whether it be put a Madonna in the window facing outside or, you know, hanging a broom upside down your closet. And I was doing it all.
Maybe a little rain dance.
Yeah, I was doing every superstitious thing I could. And I kid you not, that morning we woke up, because we had to start setting up, you know, early. We've been prepping all week. And we started setting up early. We woke up and it looked cloudy and it looked like it was going to rain. And the event started at noon. And I kid you not, about 10:30, the clouds just parted. I mean, they just parted like Moses parted the Red Sea. They just,
Right.
I'm not even trying to be dramatic here. It just parted and the sun came out and it ended up being a beautiful day. Like I couldn't believe it.
Right now.
I literally went to church that Sunday. I hadn't been to church in years. I went to church that Sunday.
Right. I just had an experience right now.
Yeah. It was mind blowing. And then we did it the next year in the same courtyard, but we tented every manufacturer section. So to give it a little bit of cover,
learning as we go.
Right.
Yeah. And then it got so big the second year we had to take over the whole parking lot of the shopping center. And now it had gotten so big and all the other stores in the area benefited because I was bringing hundreds of people to the shopping center. So they all got supportive. So when we were able to take over a portion of the parking lot, and then for many years, we kept on taking more and more of the parking lot over until we couldn't really take any more parking lot over. And then we moved to the fairgrounds. Then we moved to the American German Club for about 3 years. And then about 3 years ago, we moved to the South Florida Fairgrounds, which I'm pretty confident I could say I don't think we'll ever outgrow. So as long as they still love us and love us having the event there, I think the South Florida Fairgrounds will be the last home of the Great Smoke as far as a physical location.
Okay. Hey, so Abe, we have, you know, a lot of beginner smokers that watch our channel that, for one, wouldn't even step into an actual cigar lounge without being nervous. Now we're talking about this grandiose event, this Super Bowl event. You know what I'm saying? Number one, would you recommend an event like this for a beginner? And then second, you know, what is the atmosphere like, you know, pre-COVID for an event like this?
Listen, the atmosphere is total party and great time. Everybody's so giving and open. And one of the things early on, and we've had in our event, we had something called a companion ticket. Because everything the Great Smoke has become has been an evolution of feedback we get from our people who would come, because we're always looking to make it better. There's not one year where we don't think tank for hours and what can we do differently or better this year. In fact, at the end of every year, we have a big team meeting to go over all the things that went wrong, all the things we need to improve for next year and stuff like that. So it's always been an evolution of a process. And one of the things early on was like, man, I love this event. My wife or my girlfriend would love this event, but, you know, she doesn't smoke cigars. So one of the things we did early on was we created this thing called the companion ticket, where, you know, look, if you wanted to come with your spouse or wife who's going to enjoy the music, enjoy the food, drink, have a great time with you, but you don't need 2 cigar bags, we created the companion ticket. So it's always been fun. The manufacturers that we get there, because fortunately enough, we're in South Florida, you know, 90% of them are here in Miami or in the Florida area. So the manufacturers and the principals who show up at the event has always been a high percentage. And so it's great that if you are a cigar fan, whether you're just learning or you're a hardcore fan, you're going to meet people. You're going to meet like-minded. You're going to meet people within the industry, right? Patrons you can actually talk to and interact with. And our event is like 4 to 5 hours long. So there's never this bustle you actually could casually walk up and have a nice conversation with somebody. Right. And you're with like-minded people from all over the country, not even just locally. I mean, I think at this point now it's half come from locally and half come from out of state for this event. So as far as the experience coming to it physically, it's totally open with. In fact, I think it's even more beneficial to people who are beginners, right? Because now, look, as a beginner, you're always looking for advice. You're listening to guys like you, other guys in media, what to try, what to smoke. If they have a question, they can ask it in a form where they could not feel embarrassed, right? Okay, so this is a great avenue because you're getting 40 of a variety that you don't have to pay retail for. Because like I said, the retail is less than half. I mean, the box is typically really less than half the retail value of the cigar. So you get this 40 stick assortment that you could experiment and try and see what you like. And it's like a mega cigar of the month club subscription. It's 40 cigars though, right? So you're getting all these, right? It's like the mother load of cigar of the month clubs. You're getting all these cigars you could try. And what we've noticed as retailers is that every year we've done this event, there's always been 2 or 3 brands just on our local store level that all of a sudden started selling. Like it had been stagnant for months. Nobody was talking about it, but a few hundred or 1,000 plus people got exposed to it. And all of a sudden we see on the store level, man, these people are starting to buy this. We went from barely ever needing to order this. Now we're ordering it every week because the shelves are emptying. So that's the whole thing about it. So whether you're a novice or a hardcore fan, the physical event is worth the experience. The problem for us was now how do we make this digital event worth the experience? Right. How could we make people, when this event is over, like I just watched, like I said, The Last Dance, and I was pissed. It was 10 episodes. Like, damn it, man. I could have watched, I could have watched 50 more episodes of this and my favorite team and player of all time, right? So how do you get that feeling? How are we going to put that feeling in the hands of people when they're done watching this virtual episode? Where, are you kidding me? It's over? Like this may never happen again, or I got to wait till next year. And that's something that we always strive about, whether it's in physical or digital format, is to have that be the end feeling of a consumer or a patron or a fan who's gone out of their way and spent their hard-earned money to be part of this event. Is how do we get that feeling in them of saying, God, it's over? And it's almost a little bit saddening, and it's a little bit awesome they were part of it. And that's our goal. That's what we work towards doing. I mean, really.
Okay. I mean, so let's see. So 2021, I've seen a few things on TV, like, Kevin Hart's new stand-up special, some comedy specials that are on Netflix, and they have their actual event that will usually be in like the Toyota Arena or the Honda Center, and they have like a small little group of people that they invited to a secret place. Right? Are you gonna have like a small live audience on top of it?
Yeah. One of the things about doing this broadcast and making it like a Tonight Show feel, right? This variety show format, I said from day one, do we have a small live audience? Now, I already figured that some of our hardcore locals would have come up to me and said, what can I do? Come on, let me in. I just want to watch. Right? I want to be there. So I already anticipated.
Come on, bro. We want to go.
Yeah, I already anticipated that happening on a local level without a doubt. So we have, I think it's either 50 or 60 seats in there, and we made an experience. There's 2 food service sessions for those guys. There's open bar. There's going to be inner audience interaction with the co-hosts throughout the day. But I'm not going to lie. I totally assumed and made the assumption that those seats would all be filled by locals, and it's not. We have people. I know at least a dozen people, if not more, who are flying in. I mean, like I said, our normal event is 4 days long, so it's kind of worth it, who are flying in just to sit in the 8-hour broadcast, which blew my mind away. So there are people who are flying in who have bought tickets, who are going to travel to come down. But I think they understand the historical significance of what we're trying to do. Because if we pull this off in my head, if it's half as good as I see it coming out my head, I think it'll be a historical thing. And I just think they want to say, I was there when it happened. Right. Absolutely. Like I'm watching this Last Dance with my kids, and they're watching it on video. I was like, no, I was there. I was there when he made that shot. I was in the stadium. I saw him. His sweat went flying right by me. Right? Yeah. So while you're watching it on video, I was there, and I was in Chicago for the championship. So, I think that's something that some people have inside them, is they see the historical significance of what we're trying to pull off, and they want to say, I was in that studio when that happened. Because the nice thing about this, compared to all the 14 events that we've done for the Great Smoke is when that event is over, it's over. Yeah, there's a couple marketing videos made and there's a gallery in our website, but the event's over and you got to wait till next year. This event's going to exist forever. It's going to be on YouTube and Facebook, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people will be watching this in the months and months afterwards. So it's one of those things where I think maybe even 4, 5, 6 years from now, it may come up in conversation. People will be talking about it, and there'll be a handful of people who says, I was there. I was in that studio when that happened. So
we just saw a comment from Adam said he believes that last year when he was at the event, he was talking to a guy who had come in from Israel. That's incredible.
That guy, just so Adam knows, bought a ticket and is flying in to be in the studio this year.
That's awesome.
That same guy. So yeah. And look, when you could create that kind of emotional attachment to an event, this is not like other events. And that's what we strive for, man. We want these guys to say, man, I can't wait till February of next year. There are people who look forward to this all year. There are people I see once a year. Literally, I see them once a year, and they'll show up at our event with the lanyard from every year around their necks. They're walking pridefully with 12, 14 lanyards around their necks, and that's why it's one of the reasons why even though this was a digital event, right? We still made the lanyards for this year.
You'll see us wearing the lanyards next year.
We made the lanyards this year because there are people out there who take pride in having one of these for every year. So for them not to have one this year, even though it serves no purpose, this is how you got into the event. If you weren't wearing one, they wouldn't let you pass the gate.
Represent your lanyard when you're on the live,
live, right? But
we're sending these out to everybody across the country. So, and this will be the one the guys in the studios will wear, which, typically we have a VIP section at the Great Smoke. So they're technically the VIP section of this year's event. So
very cool.
Like I said, the hard part is always drop my cigar. It didn't crack. Look at that. Good quality cigar.
There you go.
What you smoke? I mean, I feel kind of rude. We 37 minutes in this video. We haven't even asked Abe what he's smoking. You know what I'm saying? We introduce ourselves for our sticks, right? But Abe got smoking over there, and nobody knows what are you smoking, Abe?
I just went in my humidor behind me and I grabbed me a Hoya Numero Uno.
Okay.
Yeah. Great cigar. And I'm really happy for the Hoya company. They're really, they've always produced great cigars as far as I'm concerned. One of the oldest factories, or if not the oldest factory in Nicaragua. They always produce great cigars, but I think now they're getting the recognition and they're getting the notoriety that they deserve. So it's good to see them come into their own kind of in the last couple of years.
So Abe, you seem like a pretty passionate dude about the industry here. Where'd your cigar journey start? How long you been in the game?
Well, I mean, I've been in the game over 25 years, which really makes me feel old. So I started smoking cigars in high school after football games. So, that sporting celebration is another, thing I loved watching in The Last Dance, because you guys got me at the end of it. So you're going to get a lot of references fresh on my mind. But watching Michael Jordan with the cigar.
Go check out The Last Dance.
Yeah. Watching him with a cigar, but that's how we did. We would smoke cigars as a team after big games, and we were a state finalist in my senior year. We had 7 shutouts out of 9 games, and that's kind of my exposure to cigars. Not really hardcore into it, but it became something we tied to celebrating. And then I had a cousin who really got into it and started teaching me a little bit more about it, and I became a connoisseur. I was still living in my home. I was in my early 20s. And I had a humidor at the house. And literally at night, after my parents went to bed and everybody was asleep, I would go to humidor, crack open a cigar, cut a cigar, and just have a cigar almost every night before I went to bed. Just relaxing. I would chill. And it was crazy because my parents actually let me smoke in the house back then. Couldn't do it for $1 million right now. But they would actually let me have a cigar at night, And that's kind of how I got into it personally. I got my first humidor. I started shopping. The first box of cigars I think I ever bought myself was a box of Don Carlos No. 2s. But I would just buy a lot of sticks here and there and buy different things. And how I got into it as far as a business was right during the boom. I had an uncle who had a liquor store, and he knew I was into cigars. So he's like, look, we get all these people that come asking us for cigars. We don't know nothing about cigars. Can you help? We want to put a case in here and sell them. Can you help us out?
Right.
Well, it just so happened that a dear friend of mine, well, he became a dear friend of mine, but his son went to school with my brother, so I knew of him. He was a big cigar distributor in Chicago. So I went to him. I didn't have a tobacco license or anything. I just paid cash. He was nice enough to sell me cigars. And I got this cabinet I converted into a humidor for my uncle. It was about 4 feet wide, maybe 6 feet. No, I think it was even 8 feet wide. And I loaded it up, put every brand I knew I thought was good that would sell, filled it up, priced it out for him. I said, you're good to go. I'm figuring I won't hear from this guy for like a year. Guy calls me in 2 weeks. He's like, it's empty. I said, what? Who robbed you? I said, no, we sold it all. I said, you got to be kidding me. So he's like, look, we need you to fill it up again. So that's kind of when I kind of said, well, there might be something here. So my first delve into the cigar business was I got the idea. I started going around to any liquor store, any restaurant, any country club, any bar. I'd be in there. And if I met somebody who was in charge, I'm like, this is a great place, but you know what you're missing here? You should sell cigars. Oh, I don't know nothing about cigars. Well, here's my card. You don't need to know nothing. My deal was I would get the humidor. I would put it in your place. I would fill it up. And once a month, I'll come and do inventory. Whatever you sold, you keep 15%, you give me the rest. And next thing I knew, I had like 40, 50 accounts all over Chicagoland area, country clubs, restaurants, bars. And that's kind of how I got started. And then I wanted to do a retail store. And at this point, I'm still not exposed to the culture. I'm kind of in my own culture, smoking alone at night in my house, but I made a business out of it. So I wasn't really exposed to the culture yet. And I kind of wanted to do a cigar shop in Illinois at the time, in a little town called Winnetka. Mm-hmm. And by the grace of God, the landlord was McDonald's, so the lease was impossible to negotiate. Like I was a year and a half plus into this and getting nowhere. Like if we had a comment or a question, it'd be like 4 months before they would reply. It was insane. Right. So meanwhile, I'm running the grocery business, the family grocery business with my father that I didn't want nothing to do with. I just got sucked into running it with him. My uncle wanted out, and next thing I know, I was running the family business. I was running the cigar business on the side, and I had my own graphics little business I was doing on the side. So the cooperative, when I took over the family business, I really turned it around. We remodeled it, we fixed it. I got into the marketing, and it was a neighborhood store. We've been there for, the store had been there for probably 25 or 30 years before my dad took it over. Then we had been running it in the neighborhood for 20 some years. Everybody in the neighborhood knew me from when I was 5 years old. And now I'm in my 20s, working it. So, and if I just show up in Evanston now, I guarantee you all these people would be there. I mean, it was a great family community store, but I really had turned it around and made it grow. So the cooperative, the people we get the groceries from, who lent me the money to buy my uncle out when he wanted out, came to me and said, look, there's another market called Asbury Market. And that market was probably about 3 times bigger than our store. And I knew of it. And they're like, we want to give it to you. So obviously they missed making payments on it, or they borrowed some money from the cooperative, didn't pay it back. The cooperative now has it. They didn't want it. They figure I'm a good operator. Let's just give it to this kid and let him run it. And as long as he pays the bills, it's his. And that put me like, I didn't know. I didn't even want to be in the grocery business. I'm like, okay. So here's this cooperative basically offering me this, I'm guessing it was a 15 to 20,000 square foot, grocery store market, basically giving it to me.
Right.
And I'm like, what do I do? I kind of know in my gut that if I do this move, I'm in the grocery business forever. Like right. I'm not getting out of it. So I literally come to Florida to visit a friend who had a cigar shop, the first Smoke Inn, who he actually wanted me to open it with him in late 96. I didn't move here till summer of 98. He wanted me to open it with him. And I'm like, dude, I just took over the family business. There's no way I'm walking out of my dad. So timing sucks. But if you want, we'll do one in Chicago. And that was our plan. And I just flew down for like 10 days just to kind of think about this and mull this over. And that's when I got exposed to the culture. That's when I got exposed to the real cigar shop feel. And I will tell you that I am still dear friends with all those guys when I vacationed here 25 years ago. I mean, all of them that are still alive, unfortunately. And I never went back to Chicago.
Weather's a lot better where you are now.
Yeah, I was so enthralled with this lifestyle of the cigar shop and the people and the culture and how everything attracted me more than the product. And that's why when I do these shows, I kind of like, I don't want to piss people off. I'm not like a cigar geek nerd. It wasn't the product that drew me to business. It was this culture that I felt very comfortable in not only being in, but accentuating on it, building on this culture, making it a better culture. So yeah, I never went back. My dad literally called me after 2 weeks and said, am I on drugs or are you supposed to be back in Chicago by now? And yeah, I kind of told him about that. I'm not kind of coming back. And of course, he got pissed. I gave him about 2 or 3 months to cool off and then flew back, loaded everything I could in my Jimmy and came back to Florida. And that's kind of how I really got into the cigar retail game.
Okay. So everybody chiming in and out. So if you get just now chiming into the live, we have Honest Abe here, the big creator, the big boss of the Great Smoke, who is now doing a digital event for 2021. You kind of honed in on you getting a taste of the culture. You know what I'm saying? It's not the product that kind of, brought you in. It was the culture. So your personal opinion, what was that? What was it about that culture that got you hooked?
It was that anybody could relate to each other. Now, being in South Florida, right? It's got its mix of everything. Literally, criminals, businessmen, multimillionaires, guy who's unemployed. It's got its mix of everything. And then, when you're in retail, every cigar shop has those con artists that find their way in and out, and our job is to move them out quickly as possible once we figure that out. But then you have these guys who sit there, and this guy is unemployed, looking for a job. This guy was retired at 45 years old, and they're just socializing like they've known each other for 20 years and friends. Yeah. So here was this product that just brought everybody together. I don't care where you were from, what your culture was, what your background reference was, what your nationality was. It was such a cool thing to see everybody relate. And then we started when I moved here, I was 26 years old. So all my patrons who became my lifelong friends, most of them were 45, 50, they were older men, families. Some of them had kids my age at that time, right?
Right.
So our whole lifestyle became, okay, well, we had Thursday night dinners. We had Wednesday night poker. We had dart night one night at a pool hall. So it was really funny because the joke amongst them was like, our wives are getting like, what night's left? Like, is this really a thing? But we found these reasons to always get together outside the cigar shop, which were amazingly and epic. And I'll never forget a joke. I had a regular poker game at my house every Wednesday night that 10, 12 guys kind of rotated into coming over and playing. And I'm looking around this table one night, and it was an ongoing joke for years. I went, wow. And I'm like, what? I said, I'm just like looking around here, and I'm saying, who the hell am I going to play cards with in 25 years? And it was a funny thing because I was the young kid in the group. Oddly enough, now I'm the age where they were all at, sitting at the table. But that's what got me is the culture, and that you could bring all these different people together, and it was easy for them to relate because this product united us, and it broke down walls and barriers of people to communicate. And some people never get that, which for me is sad. Those guys who just want to stay at home and look through a catalog and find the cheapest cigars, they're just like eating food. Yeah, they're eating food and they're drinking whatever, and they're not really understanding what for me was always the cooler thing about the product is the culture around it, the community. Dude, how many times have you been out vacationing or you're out somewhere where you don't know anybody and you see a fellow cigar smoker? Do you not feel instantly bonded to him? Like you walk up to him, hey, what are you smoking? Yeah.
Hey, funny thing, we went to dinner last night, right? And so one of our partners, he was like, what's that smell? I smell a cigar. So we're all looking around the courtyard to see who has a cigar around here. So that's kind of like what you're talking about there, because it was 6 deep. We were 6 deep last night, and our whole entire table was looking for where that cigar smell was coming from.
Yeah, you will instantly relate to that guy. There's an instant brother or sisterhood, whatever you want to call it, with anybody else who shares this passion of this product that we have. So for me, that's an incredible dynamic, and I love working within that dynamic.
I think we got to freak them out last night, though, because none of us had cigars in our head, but we were all staring at him coming through the courtyard.
Poor dude.
Right?
Yeah, that's the best part about it.
Oh,
So, Abe,
man.
where can everybody find the information on the Great Smoke?
So all the information at the Great Smoke is at the website, thegreatsmoke.com. You could see what comes in the party in the box, which is like your ticket. And we've named all the brands because we want people to know the quality cigars. Typically in these kind of events, they don't name each one individually. We wanted to. We basically hounded every manufacturer to tell us as early as possible because we wanted to put it out there that these are the 40 brands. Or at least we could narrow it to a brand, not even size specific. It would help. We put it in there. It shows you all the stuff you're going to get. It tells you about the limited editions that are being made, which are only available. So, like, for instance, just off the top of my head, like the Carlito or Steve Cigar, when the limited edition these guys are making, when they come on during the broadcast, we will say the sale for this is going live now. And that's when that'll turn on because there's only 100 to 150. I think Steve Saka made the most where we have 200 of his. In fact, he just mailed us 2 for product photography. This is amazing. In fact, I normally wouldn't even open these to smoke because Steve asked me how was it? And I said, I'm not opening these up. He's like, dude, I sent you those just for you to smoke. Your 200 is coming. They're on the way. So we literally we opened them up and we lit them up and it's pure fire. But he made us 200 of these. And I'll tell you a testament to Steve. Every one of these 200 things, this is a handwritten. This is not printed. He wrote this on every bundle because the two I have don't match. I mean, they look close, but they don't match. I mean, the stamp is the stamp, but he made these, and these will be available only to people who buy tickets for the event. So if you're a Saka fan, you're going to want to be watching during his broadcast, and we're limiting all limited editions to 1 per customer. So one per customer per manufacturer, because we want to make as many people happy as possible. We don't need one guy buying 20 of these and putting them on the black market. So you can get one of the Carlito one of the Steve Saka one of the Pete Johnson one, but you can't get more than 1 per manufacturer. But you have to have a ticket. Otherwise, the store will recognize you didn't purchase a ticket to the event and will not let you purchase these limited edition products.
Okay, so we're talking about this huge event. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure everybody that's watching coming in and out. When is it?
The event broadcast is February 20th. Historically, the Great Smoke event has always been the Saturday after Valentine's Day, or that's kind of how we did it. Because when we started out locally, we always just thought that'd be a good Valentine's Day gift for their wives or girlfriends to get their boyfriends this.
Exactly.
Then when we moved to the fairgrounds, we didn't have the liberty of kind of picking our day. We have to work around scheduling of other people's events, but we always try to make it that third week of February, that Saturday. It's always on a Saturday. So the 20th kind of stays in that tradition of when it is. The packages, you could buy the Great Smoke, what we call party in a box, as long as we made enough to only make a certain number of packages. So if it sells out, it's gone. But it doesn't look like it's selling out at this point because we made a lot. So as long as it's available, you could buy it. But if you'd like to have it before the broadcast, I'd strongly suggest ordering it before February 5th. Because the week of the 8th through the 12th, we're taking a team of 12 people down to Miami where all this stuff is being stored in a cigar manufacturer warehouse because we wouldn't even have the room to store this stuff. The boxes alone that we're packing all this stuff in was 6 pallets, and our warehouse isn't open yet. That's just the boxes. The cigar vaults that everybody's getting included in this, the nice little Pelican kind of briefcase. That was 12 pallets alone. So, it's all in Miami. We're taking a team of 12. Actually, we're doing a recon meeting tomorrow morning there. Then we're going to send a team on Wednesday just to actually see how many boxes can a team of 12 put out in a day to make sure that we're on course for the following week. If not, we're probably going to go back Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this week. But we're going to try to get all the packages out between the 8th and the 12th. So I would strongly suggest if you order it before the 5th, there's a good chance, most likely, you're going to get your box before. If you order it afterwards, you'll still get the box. You'll still be able to participate in the event and get limited edition products, but there's a chance your box won't be there before the event.
Okay.
So where can people find you on social media?
Well, I have, my personal page, which I don't accept a lot of friend requests on there unless I really know you on some level because, I got my family and stuff on there. So I do get a lot of friend requests and they kind of get lost in the shuffle because I don't look at it that often. But you can follow us at Smoke In, which is our main page. It's got a black background. We have multiple Facebook pages because we have location pages for each of our individual.
Awesome Facebook community, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I said awesome Facebook community, by the way.
And we started our own socialite group, which was like a private group for people who are fans, and we could communicate and kind of do special things for. And I'm telling you, I've been shocked at how that took off. We started like a month ago, and there's almost 1,200 people on there, and it just blew me away how fast. And everybody's been so cool and so awesome about the community. But we're trying to treat it. It's called the Smoking Social on Facebook. If you're not there, go to it. Everybody's so extremely nice, and I think the people who have joined it kind of understand our message of culture, of what we're trying to build. So I try to post little snippets of historical history significance. We've been doing this for 25 years. So, every week or so I'll post something from 20 years ago or whatever I could find, and kind of share some insight. My team will post like videos that we would never post up on our regular social media of them doing crazy stuff in the back room. But we try to make it, once again, experience driven, not just come here and post up your shit, but we want people to interact. And like you said, it's taken off, and it's kind of been, the hardest thing about me doing things digitally, and it was kind of an argument I had with Jonathan Drew first, when we weren't online, we didn't have an online store. Jonathan was the main instigator who pushed me and said you had to do an online store. And I'm like, I don't know how to compete in an online realm. I could work with people here because I interact with them, right? There's a relationship and a tangibility of dealing with people who walk through my store. That's why I don't have a problem winning locally and winning the loyalty of the people walking through that door, because I could interact with them. How do you do that online? And I just didn't know how to do it. And he urged me and kind of convinced me to do it. And along the years, we just kept finding ways to do it, whether it be the handwritten note that we've included in every mail order that's gone out in the last, I don't know how long we've been doing it now, maybe 12, 15 years. So yeah, when you order from us, you're getting a handwritten letter from somebody. And that used to be all me in the beginning. I used to handwrite everyone because I was trying to connect with people on a personal level. So, and now we add mints and we do little things. So we've managed, and especially, and this was all before Facebook. Now with Facebook, it's easy. I could connect with people incredibly easy. I've been able to take what we do here in the store and send it out on a national level, and we made our own Facebook group. But you got to remember, we started and there was no Facebook.
Yeah.
So how do you connect with people? So that was the thing. So between our Smoking Social page and our radio show, which is our 10th year. So I have a 25-year company anniversary this year. We have the 10-year of KMA Talk Radio. We got the digital. I mean, it's a crazy year for us. We got a lot on our plates, but we're excited about it, and we hope to do cool things. And we're every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube, where we broadcast our show live. And I think our show has resonated and done well because I do what we do best. I don't try to get into cigar reviews.
Right.
I don't try to do, because that's not me. What I kind of wanted to emulate is the conversation that you would have sitting in a cigar shop.
The culture,
right? And just broadcast it.
Come on,
we could talk. I've said here, we'll talk about anything, whether it be our kids, our families, a little bit of politics, cigars, sex, women, whatever.
Barbecue, a little bit of barbecue talk. You know what I'm saying?
Food. One of the most heated debates. One of the most heated debates I think we had in our radio show was cereal game. Who has best cereal game? Right? Yeah. So that's what we tried to emulate on our radio show Saturday mornings, and it's taken off, and it's got a great following. And we're very honored to have all these people from all over the country, all over the world. I think this last weekend, we had 5 different people on that put what country they were from, and they were from other parts of the world, which was mind blowing. So that's what we enjoy, and that's what we try to do. And coming out and talking with guys like you and sharing people who don't know about us. I mean, look, you don't have to be a smoking customer to be in our socialite group. If you've caught me on this show, you want to learn about a little bit more about who we are, what we do, what we're about, and share it and be with other great people who enjoy your passion. Join our Facebook group. It's a great place to hang out.
And you know what? I think it was just last week, because we had became members not long ago, and either you or your team members posted all the new people that just joined your club, and just the responses from everyone who's already been a part of your Facebook group started chiming in. Hey, welcome. Hey, good to have you. Hey, da da da. Hey, da da da. Like, oh, okay, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're new at this, so there's still features I'm kind of learning about running your own group. I didn't even know that was a button. Like, well, that's actually a button you could hook. So that was the first one we did. I don't know how far back, because it automatically puts the people's names in there. I don't know how far back it goes. So we're just gonna make that Welcome Wednesdays now. That's gonna be like my Welcome Wednesday post, is to invite all new members into the group. Another thing that I'm trying to do, and I haven't figured out how to do it right. So if anybody listening is really good at Facebook, want to PM me, let me know. But like, I like to wish people happy birthday, but I don't know the birthdays of anybody in my group. The only people I know their birthdays are if they're actually friends with me as well. So the only way I know how to do it is I got to go to my page on a desktop, see whose birthdays come up. Then I see if they're in my group.
Right.
Then I go to the group and say happy birthday. So I might miss some birthdays. Don't be offended if I do. We'll try to acknowledge birthdays as they come up. But I mean, yeah, just running this whole Facebook group is a new experience for us. I mean, I didn't even know there was a welcome button.
Like, there's a button for that. There's a button. There's a button for that.
Welcome button, man.
They're trying to find buttons for themselves, you know.
Well, hey, Abe, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. For everybody watching, be sure to get your tickets to the Great Smoke now before they sell out. Any closing thoughts, Brother Stogie?
Hey, man, we just want to reiterate, man, this is a huge event, and in person, this event, like Abe said earlier in the broadcast, this is $500 to $1,000 for the entire weekend, and you're getting this whole party in the box and experience for under $200, man. So go check out the website. They're on Instagram as well, The Great Smoke. Check out Abe on Facebook and become a part of this community. If you're brand new, don't be scared. Don't be scared of us. Don't be scared of Abe, and don't be scared of the Great Smoke. It's a dope experience. You know what I'm saying? That you just have to be a part of.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. And listen, keep up the good work you do. I'm very appreciative to guys like you and everybody else over the years. I was one of the earliest people who recognized media people and supported them and tried to give them exposure, because, you know, I make a living doing this. Yeah. So when I'm out here promoting this lifestyle, I'm promoting a lifestyle of something that I make a living off of. But I am always like flabbergasted at guys like you and Coop who have jobs, who have lives, and yet still dedicate and devote your personal time to spreading the gospel, like I like to say, spreading the word of what we do. So, you know, just want to let all your listeners know how appreciative they should be of what you guys do, and keep it up. It's awesome.
We appreciate that. We love this community.
Yeah, man. So we thank you, everybody who chimed in, everybody who commented. We appreciate you. But we have reached the end, man.
We have reached the end. You know? Abe, we will see or talk to you soon.
Right?
Absolutely, guys.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Just because it's live, I don't mean we gonna switch up things. So I gotta say it. You know what I'm saying? So until next time, especially for you know, give a round of applause for my boy Cigar Tight, because he was shitting bricks before we started, because this is our first live event.
Just want to make sure it goes off without a hitch.
You know what I'm saying? He did very good. You know what I'm saying?
Easy peasy, right? Easy peasy.
You know what I'm
pro
saying?
Now.
Exactly. So until next time, man, live how you smoke and smoke how you live, baby. And that's smooth, baby.
We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.